Welcome to Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We're in the Central Valley today in Stanislaus County, and we are joined by Dale Butler. He is the president and actually the founder of the Latino Emergency Council. Before we talk about the council, I want to talk about the Latino community here in the Central Valley, specifically in Stanislaus. What can you tell us about the Latino community here?
Well, it is a sizable community. I think we're approaching probably 50% of the population in the county. We're distributed throughout the county, mostly I would think the west side of the county.
I see.
But with a significant Latino population, certainly within the city of Modesto and other cities throughout the county like Riverbank and Turlock.
And as I understand it, the Latino community living in this region, many have been here for generations.
Exactly.
A lot of folks working in ag in terms of income level, low to moderate, but starting to move up even more, which is pleasing.
They are certainly a sizable population working in ag and ag-related industry like the canneries, but certainly in the service professions as well. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of upward mobility taking place too.
And of particular relevance to our topic today is language dominance. What tends to be the primary language spoken by Latinos in this community?
I would say that primarily English, but we do have a significant number of Latinos that do speak English and Spanish, and a lot of them too Spanish only.
Spanish dominant.
Yes, Spanish dominant.
And that becomes relevant when we talk about the Latino Emergency Council. Many of us may not remember, back in 1997, this county faced a flooding disaster that we haven't seen in decades, if not centuries. Tell us about the epic flood of 1997.
Well, I happen to have been working with the county back then in the Chief Executive Office, Personnel Office.
Okay.
And when the flood occurred, I was at the Emergency Dispatch Center, basically interacting with members of the Latino community that had difficulty speaking English. There were Spanish speakers. I happen to be bilingual.
You are.
And there was a big need, certainly, for individuals that had the capacity within county service to speak Spanish to interact with the Latino community during that event.
And what we know is during that El Nino storm that caused the flood, the Tuolumne River overflowed, the Stanislaus River overflowed, creeks were overflowing. I mean, this wasn't quite Hurricane Katrina, but it was serious and severe.
It was serious and severe, most definitely. And that's essentially what prompted me years later to tie in with individuals like Mr. Jones from the County Chief Executive Office and Mr. Jose Rodriguez from the Council for the Spanish Speaking out of San Joaquin County to form our organization.
And let's talk about that, because apparently you're on to something, because you were, and I believe still are, the only Latino emergency council in the nation. My gut tells me there will be more, but you are focusing on emergency preparedness for the Latino community living in this beautiful county.
Exactly, and that is our focus, emergency preparedness. And disasters can occur at any time, all types of disasters like the 1997 flood.
And we are in California, and earthquakes occur in California, and the Delta is not far from here. And we have heard if an earthquake hits the Delta in a certain way, oh no. I mean, this region could see a flood like none other, and I don't even know what to say about that.
We need to be prepared.
Right, and so let's talk about what you are doing to help the Latino community prepare.
Well, we do a lot of outreach work.
Yeah,
yes.
Tell me about some of your outreach events, because that in a lot of ways I think is wise.
We do a lot of community events. We have a great relationship with Modesto City Schools, for example. And whenever they have community events, we make it a point to be out there in the community at those events distributing emergency preparedness literature.
And here is what we have as an example. It's a simple card, But boy, I can't think of how many of us don't do what this card tells us, regardless of our ethnic descent.
Exactly.
What's nice about this card, of course, is we see that the card is offered in English as well as Spanish.
Right.
And it's dealing with the realities of this Latino community. Some English speakers, some Spanish speakers, some bilingual speakers.
Right.
And so when you pass out these cards, do people realize, oh my, I haven't done this, I got to get cracking?
They do, and we get feedback because we interact with individuals, parents, usually at these school site events, and we interact with them. And you know, after they've had an opportunity to just browse over that information, that's exactly you know, what they say to us. Gee, you know, I didn't have access to this information. I have access to it now, and I plan to use it. So it's very useful indeed.
If you can, sir, regardless of one's ethnic heritage, I'm sure you have insight for all of us in terms of emergency preparedness. What does this card tell us? In English or Spanish, but no, you can start with English. What does this card tell us?
Well, it's basically, it's a kit. You know, for example, what happens if we have an earthquake?
Right.
What type of items should we, you know, have at home? You know, water, food,
And if
flashlights.
you can, I mean, I'd love to just read off some of these
Sure.
important items. At least a gallon of water per person per day for 3 days, both for drinking and sanitation. That's something to remember.
Yes.
Food for at least 3 days, non-perishable. Battery-powered or hand crank radio. You need to get information. Flashlight, extra batteries, a first aid kit, dust mask, whistle to signal for help. I mean,
That's
who
very
would- I wouldn't
important.
even think of that. But so
Exactly.
often people don't know that you're there. Moist towelettes, the baby wipes, a wrench or pliers to turn off utilities. Another critically important element, can opener for food and local maps. And of course, I can try my
It's in
Spanish.
Spanish. We'll give it a try.
Yeah, I speak some Spanish. Equipo básico de, I can't say that word, de emergencia. What's this word?
Oh, suministros.
Which means supply
Basic
kit.
supply
yeah.
kits.
I'm learning Spanish. You should know that, but that's not
You did
relevant
very
today.
well, by the way.
I try.
Very well.
I try. And so, where should people put these kits together themselves? Can they buy kits? Do you provide pre-packaged kits?
Not at this time,
Okay.
but they can buy them, and there are agencies that you know, provide these types of kits, and we work with them too. We provide information in terms of where they can contact or the contact individuals so they can you know, purchase these
Right.
items. There are organizations in the community. I know the Red Cross, for example. You know, does a great job in interacting with the community in general, including Latinos. and provide this.
I acquired a pre-packaged kit because I'm not very handy, as my crew knows. I wouldn't know how to put together a kit like this. My wife maybe, but not me so much. I do want to mention, and you're speaking to the son of a pharmacist, so this
Okay.
is relevant. You got to make sure you have enough prescription meds, especially if you're
Yes.
diabetic, high blood pressure. And look, the mujeres, I mean, you know, they're on top of it all, but it's critical that you have what you need to keep yourself healthy.
Absolutely. You know, for us, it's a matter of also into the future, leveraging more grant monies. You know,
Key
so we
point.
can purchase these types of items and make them available. We're a growing organization.
So
We've
let-
been in existence 10 years.
Yeah, so let me ask you, for our viewers in the Central Valley or otherwise, can we get involved in your council? Can
Yeah,
we volunteer? Can we contribute? What can we do?
we would love for you to get
I was gonna
involved.
say.
And if you want to volunteer, we'll sign you up right
It's
away.
my
Absolutely.
pleasure. Let's say the website, latinoemergency.com, and I presume, regardless, you know, English speaker, Spanish speaker, whatever
Yeah, it
it
doesn't
is,
matter.
I mean, help is needed.
yeah.
And
Help is
necess-
needed.
Right.
Our board, for example, it's not all Latinos.
Right.
It's a 7-member board.
Fantastic.
We have 3 non-Latinos. We work extremely well together. We all have a passion for what we're doing.
Right. We're all in
and
this
that's what it's
together.
all about.
Look, we're
That's
all
what
in
it's
this
all about.
together. I want to thank
Exactly.
you for what you're doing and for your vision, your foresight. He is the president of the Latino Emergency Council. His name is Dale Butler. We're in Stanislaus County today. My name is Brad Pomerance. You're watching Charter Local Edition.